Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my final project from our astronomy class. I chose to explore the topic of space debris and the economics of space debris because it's something that is at the intersection of my academic interest in economics and our class in astronomy. So let me dive right into it. So a lot of this research was inspired by a paper I read a few weeks ago on titled Space, the Final Economic Frontier by Matthew Feinstein. And it was really interesting because the author talks about how far the commercial space industry has come, and also the challenges that still has to overcome in order for it to become mainstream, and for us to become for space exploration to become more accessible to everyone. So one of these challenges that he talks about that I found really interesting is space debris. So what is space debris? It's basically space trash. It is non-functional man-made objects orbiting the Earth. And there are roughly 128 million of these objects that are over the size of 1 centimeter. Um, they total around 6 tons of material, and their main sources are routine space activity like the launching of satellites, telescopes, and also anti-satellite weapon systems, which we'll be talking about in a second. Now, what is the main problem with space debris? Well, the main problem is that it's not your regular trash like here on Earth that doesn't do anything. It is instead they're basically space bullets. They're objects traveling at over 18,000 miles per hour, which if they come into contact with anything, they pretty much destroy it. Whether this is a space station, a satellite, anything. So, and when they destroy this, they in turn create more space trash, more space debris, um, which in turn make more and more destruction more likely, causing these chain reactions, which ultimately can render parts of our orbit inhospitable, and which ultimately threatens our ability to explore space, live in space, and even leave our own planet. Um, so the main looming threats for our species goals to become an multiplanetary species are called ASAT weapons or anti-satellite weapons. These are weapons that are becoming more popular and are becoming increasingly tested by countries like China, India, and Russia. So the problem with these weapons is that they basically target space infrastructure and lead to massive increases in space debris. As you can see here in the graph, just one testing of an ASAT weapon by China led to a huge increase in space debris. And this was just one test. As the space infrastructure becomes more important for national security purposes and for our daily lives, for example, our GPS in our phones, our communications technology, even our military spying technology, it becomes increasingly reliant on space infrastructure. Well, these tests will become more important and more popular for countries to deploy. Now, in economics, we often analyze these types of market failures, we call them, as common goods, which are non-excludable, meaning that you can prevent other people from using this good. In this case, the orbit. No state owns the orbit, so everyone is free to use. And they are rivalrous, meaning that if you're using it, you are preventing others from using it. Meaning that there's a limited amount of orbit out there, and if you're using a lot of it, you're preventing others from using it as well. The usual solutions to these problems are taxes, because if you tax the externality, how we call it, if you tax the problem, then you reduce the problem by increasing its costs, or you levy fines or other types of punitive taxes. Now, the problem is that in order to deploy these solutions, you need require a central authority, a government that it has the authority to regulate a good. And in the case of the orbit, well, there's no central authority. No country owns the Earth's orbit. And due to the massive national security implications that space infrastructure has, there is no easy solution or no easy compromises, because no country is going to be willing to compromise on issues of real national security. So this creates a massive challenge, because if we don't fix this problem soon, we might render the dream of us becoming an interplanetary species impossible to achieve. So are we doomed? The problem is that maybe Yes, we might be doomed because under the current system of international relations, um, there is no easy solution for this. Now, it is not a happy story, it's a sad story, but it is an interesting story nonetheless. And I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about it as much as I did when I first encountered this issue. So, thank you very much for a great semester. Goodbye.